Hello everyone, and welcome to Chapter 2 of A Monster's Insight. Why did you look? Wonder if that'll happen every time I start it back up again. Chapter 2, There's a Heart That Beats as One. In spite of the outcome, one question still lingers on my mind. How did I even get the chasm keyword in the first place? I remember darkness, an inky glass-like dripping blotchness of nothing, and I saw red light. I returned to the present, at the Moldovan River. Fernwell may have been delusional, but they were right about one thing. Only those that are lost can even enter the chasm to begin with. We're lost. And Fernwell may have called me for the dialogue. But someone called first. Someone who gave me the chasm keyword. Ooh. Maybe they were right. Chasm did call me. And if that were true... Stop. I don't need to go on needless tangents right now. So what if I have doubts? Doesn't everyone? And what does it matter if the chasm called me? I doubt I'll ever see it again. Some questions can't be answered. As you were deep in thought, you turn your head towards the Bahug Bay. Across the horizon, you notice a new fair eclipse in the sky. I don't think I've seen this one before. There are signs, voices, and noises related to the fair surrounding you. Disembodied mouths and screeches from the void start whispering in the ears of the passerbyers. Need something to relax? Something to ease your worries? Feeling directionless? Losing your heart? Tired of feeling at all? Join the fun fair, where all your cares can go to waste. Sign-ups are free in this economy. I really like when they do like the things that are just cliptures of real body parts. We have free fresque juice and snacks. Advertisements for the fun fair? Are you telling me that even in this Eldritch Horror world, we're still involved in capitalism? What kind of snacks do they have? You pick up a cube of goo from the dock floor. Snacks include glummy livers, turt cigars, and classic homemade salt and gnats. Oh, Keiichi loves salt and gnats. If snacks are free, I might as well take the charity. You turn to whisper in one of the disembodied mouths. Imagine whispering in someone's mouth. That would be a... Hi. You guys saying something about free snacks? Coming right away. The mouth begins to eat itself and then spins outward from where it was. It orbits around an empty point in space while simultaneously rotating on an axis. Then it comes to a stop. Open the top of my head. Inside were the snacks listed on the cube of goo. Glummy livers, turt cigars, and salt and gnats. Please take the fresque juice too. You oblige. Congratulations. Your ceremony of commencement will begin shortly. Pardon, my ceremony of what? Now that you've given in to the desires of delectable dining, we think you're ready. Ready? Ready for what? We've always been proud of you. You've been like a son to us. The game of catch you couldn't reach, so you fell down. And there was no one to catch your fall. A different mouth approaches you. But now, someone is here to catch the fall. We're here, Gabe. Ready to catch your fall. First off, my name isn't Gabe. Secondly, I'm just going to take the snacks and go. No, don't you know? When you join the fun fair, don't you know what happens next? I haven't joined anything. You took the snacks. You are in. I'll return them. The first mouth interrupts the second one. Wait. We apologize. Perhaps you weren't ready. We're sorry we let you down, our sweet little child. At least will you attend orientation day? For what? The fun fair? Oh, the fun fair is a one-off event for the Cormium, who is all in one. Ooh, fun fair. Okay. Wait. The Cormium? Oh, yes. Sorry, we should have led with that first. Cormium is a collective hive mind. Instead of terror brute force, they've infected other worlds to conquer them. Offering free snacks at a quasi-carnival wouldn't be how I imagined running into one. So, orientation is what again? Well, we would introduce you to the philosophies of the Vena Cava and say why you should join us. Sounds reasonable. That may be true. But if I don't join, they will certainly kill me. And if I don't agree to do the orientation, they'll kill me too. Just my lucky day. So should we save? But maybe I can turn this into my favor. I was wondering, would it be possible to meet Cormium? Oh no, you don't understand. Cormium is all of us. Cormium is one. Cormium is all. Cormium is me. And Cormium is you. So, right now I'm talking to Cormium. Yes. I don't think any of your Vena Cava lackeys are gonna convince me. If I'm doing an orientation, I need to hear it from the core of the hive mind themselves. Interesting. Nobody cares to meet the ones who started it all. And if you meet Cormium, you will consider joining the Vena Cava, yes? Most definitely. We're gonna try to siphon them, I'm guessing. Not. Most definitely not. But I need to get out of this conversation. What time works for you? Well, how about tomorrow? That also works. Good. They drop to the floor and then dissolve. I think I can get out of this one, maybe. Wait, oh shoot, what did I... I'm sorry. You did what now? Hey KG, so, fun story. I, mansplain manipulated man-horde my way into convincing an elder god he doesn't exist, and now I might be joining a hive mind. But everything's okay. Everything's okay. Trust me, KG, this is going to be a good thing. I don't have a problem with the whole joining a collective hive mind thing. That's your choice. But meeting Cormium? What possible reason could you have for doing that? after winning Vernwa's favor. He's dead. Things should only go up from here. I'm not going to have one grand victory. This could be the start of a succession of wins. And for insight, why would Cormium ever let you be their siphon? They're a collective hive mind. They have better things to do. One mind or many. Everyone has their secrets. And everyone can be exploited with insight. Oh, I also got you some snacks. Salts and nuts. Oh, wait. Aren't you distracting me from the current issue at hand? I'm surprised that you actually care what happens to me. I take the salts and gnats over the hearth and start sizzling them. Keiichi stops and starts drooling over its 4 mouths. Turret cigars, when smoked and dusted, can act as a good seasoning over glummy livers. I start preparing that dish on top of the hearth and in the compressing chamber. Whilst the food is being molded and heated, I take out the fresh juice and make 2 glasses, and a small shot glass for Keiichi, and a medium-sized one for me. The glummy livers look a little underbaked, so I set it alight and re-squeeze its juices. So, what are you going to do? What I always do. Try to take over the world. I win their favor. I'm not talking about that. I mean, how are you going to win Cormium's favor? Look, I think it's time to eat. I plate the seasoned glummy livers and salts and gnats. They wibble and swim around. Don't sweat a thing, Keiichi. I got this. And I have some time to prep for tomorrow. Tomorrow is in a few lunar hours. I know. You have a location? Yeah. I know where I need to go. No worries. By the way, if you want help, the Narg works at the Zilker. Thank you, Keiichi. We ate the rest of our meal in silence. I turned off the noise machine to ease the room. But the only thing we heard that night were the noises from the outer world and the cries from the blackened skies. Nothing better to do? I pick up the papers on the floor and start reading them. Headline. One of the great terrors, Vernwa, is missing. Wonder how that happened. Experts still cannot decipher their location. With each dark hour, the probability that Vernwa is dead grows. Yikes. You have 1 point left to reassign to stats. Okay. Should I add more to perception? God, my knowledge is really good. Or should I add more to Supreme? You can continue reading to gain more points to raise your stats. Or you can scout for information to gain keywords and also +1 knowledge stat. Okay, last time we looked for information, and we got a lot of keywords. But I feel like this time we should try to better our stats because I failed a lot of the saves. And I was just lucky that my knowledge was so high that I passed that one, and that seemed like the only one I had to pass. So read and raise stats, I think. Okay, points left. Perception. We'll add 1 to that. Presence. Should we add more to intellect? I think if we up our trustworthiness. You learned the art of Sprezzatura. the ability to appear to do something incredibly effortlessly. More headlines were about Squiz Defiler of the deceased raising her undead army. Your preparation time for the dialogue is up. Now, the Silver-Tongued will attempt to win the favor of the interlocutor. Cormium, where one is all. Ooh. I like the background. This Deathburger ad. I knew that orientation would take place in the topoetic orb above the Murongo Solis border. Oh, hello. The mouths and voices from last time were there to greet me, and asked me to don a new robe, and then they beckoned me to float into the orb floating above Murongo. The topoetic orb structure, like a mechanical puzzle, began to undo itself. When the entrance opened, the orb resembled a sphere with a slice taken out. I went inside. Flash. After navigating through multiple vessels in the canals, I finally arrived at the core. This core room is abode of Cormium, mind of the Hivemind, or the heart of the Vina Cava collective. And attached to the top of the ceiling, there's none other than the heart itself. When I took a step on the ground, the Cardian floor jumped, and Cormium immediately knew I was there. Slowly they began to descend from the ceiling. Hi. I saw this was like in the promo art when I downloaded this guy. Hovering above me, the cords of arteries and veins fell delicately past them like strands of hair. Silver-Tongued.
Are you ready for orientation?
Give my own ideas a fair chance. Have a conversation. Ah, sure. Now, we here also want to make you do a little survey before we start orientation. We hope this is fine with you. Sure. I feel a quake underneath my feet. Please take a step back. I do so, and from where I was once standing, the floor caves into a hole, which then forms into a mouth-like shape. The floor ejests something into the room. The yellow and white bile floats in the room, free of gravity. As I was in awe, the hole starts closing itself up by pulling in the meaty floor that surrounds it. My reputation went a little bit up, and my intellect went up? That's cool. Okay. Similar to quicksand. As it does so, the bile transforms into a smectic state where it crystallizes to form a piece of paper. We just want to know if you have any allergies, friends or family you care about, or salt on you. Salt? Are you guys like slugs? But also, this is about if you've joined any hive minds in the past. How long you've existed as a singleton, etc. This is funny. Is there some kind of writing device I can use? Look up Silver-Tongued. Above me I see a black artery descend from the ceiling. Yeah. Squeeze it to get some ink out of it. Yummy. Continue squeezing and pressing it as you write. After a few minutes, I'm done filling out the survey. What will this be used for? We thank you very much for your cooperation. Now we're sure you have a lot of questions, which will be answered in due time. They're suspicious. But we're so trustworthy. How come? They're annoyed. Why, of all the people we've recruited, you're the only one who started making demands. And the only one to make a reasonable demand at that. To see us, sometimes among the multitude of faces. You singletons fail to grasp our reality. Singletons being a collective's word for those who are not in a hive mind. And it is because you don't understand us that we have this gap in understanding. If only you could understand. Why everyone would want to be in the Vedakava. And in your individualistic world, you think in singleton ways. You cannot comprehend our multitude presence. No, you need to something to center. You need to something to center those ideas in a singular being. Which in this case would be the vessel you see before you. Just like, why wouldn't... Why? Is that sarcasm? We couldn't be happier that you seem so impressed. I don't know if my ears deceived me, but I feel as if they're repressing something. Regardless, we hope that you and us can come to an understanding somewhere. There must be some foundation for mutual trust. After all, why were you at the fun fair? Let's just be honest. Ah yes, you did say you wanted to buy salt and gnats on that day. On that day? The talking mouths. Remember? We're a collective mind, so whatever they saw, we saw too. How's our... Everything that happened at the fun fair they saw. I can't make up anything. But we just want to understand why. How should we put it? Why would you insist on meeting with us if you have no intention on joining the Vina Cava? What exact resources are you expending by talking to me? Wow. You have a lot of audacity to go ahead and ask a stultish question like that. Everything about the rapture needs to be measured precisely. The rapture? Ooh. Okay. Done with the utmost concentration. The rapture? Two things are struggling for control. It's why all of us bother living at all. Seeking the rapture is one of wise decisions and balance. For we should not have to haha, silly. Why are we talking when we can show them for what it is? Let me... Man, you're having some issues controlling your hive mind. It seems like maybe you're not so much of a unanimous hive mind after all, my man. The lights are out. And their face begins to contort itself. It looks like blood stopped moving through its limbs and veins. Oh no, did I make it close up? Then it awakes once again. Our sincerest apologies for what you just saw. A silence steps into the chamber, lingering over both you and the interlocutor. Before we begin, we were wondering a few more things. Please. What is the most lacking thing in your life? What is the one thing you wish you could change? Because there would be no other reason why anyone would join us if they didn't want to leave something behind. You feel entitled to know this. You feel entitled to come to the core of the Vina Cava Cormium and demand a meeting from us. And why should I do that? Why, you... should do what? Why you should do what? Answer your questions. Keep in mind that you're trying to recruit me into the Vina Cava. I should be the one interviewing you. There's no need for you to get... Enough with your babbling. Foolish singletons, always so individualistic and entitled. Maybe I shouldn't always press for more. Some new limbs of the cormium began attaching themselves to the ceiling. We think it would be an appropriate time to give a tour of the Cardian. The Cardian is the name of the orb that we're currently inside. I start walking towards the exit, adjusting the fabrics of my clothes on the way out. I notice that cormium doesn't follow me, and remains attached to the chamber's ceilings. Are you to come with me? We, as cormium, cannot move from this chamber, but we, as the Vina Cava, can give a quick tour. The hovering mouths from before appear in front of me. Both the mouths and the beating cormium speak in tandem. If you could follow us, please. Certainly. Instead of taking me out of the chamber, they move me to the opposite side of the room. Tubes, veins, and arteries fall down from the ceiling and start to take a life of their own. All of them are drawn to me as if they were magnets. Wait, hold on. What's happening? Who said you were leaving this room for the tour? Please, allow yourself to be connected to our network. No, of course they'll find any opportunity to connect me to the Hivemind. Does this mean it's over before it even started? What exactly are you doing? We are going to show you projections from our collective mind. It's easier to just see visualizations rather than go through all the trouble of walking around. As you can feel the tube suck at your skin pores, a thought crosses through your mind. Wait. If they're showing projections from their mind, that means I can use insight. But no. As much as I can see what's in their mind, they can also see what's in mine. So they'll know that I can traverse their mind, and may suspect something. Cormium's main form descends from the ceiling again. Time is running out. What should I do? Alright, now you should be able to feel the rest of the Cardian. Here in the Cardian, members of the Vina Cava travel via valves, arteries, and veins. Arteries and veins are used to keep us all connected, whilst valves act as passageways through the chambers. How come at the fun fair there were no arteries or veins attached to you? That was because they were all connected to a private network there. They were in the Bahug Bay. We have a core that's connected under the sea, so all of the wires, arteries, and veins would go through the dock floors. And the cores across this planet are all connected back to here? Precisely. That's how we keep everything intertwined. What were to happen if the core at the Bahug Bay were to collapse? Would all the Vena Cava be dead or simply disconnected? We would know if any of our cores are in danger. After all, we're one and the same. If such a thing were to happen, then normally they would disconnect. But, oh. It's such a noble thing they do, doing it for the best of all of us. A lovely Liebestod indeed. They do what? Why, they all simply die. I'm sorry, what? Oh, you simple singletons. You don't understand. If any other collective were to recruit them, or if they were to deform back into their singleton states, they would be ruined. Better to spare them the harsh reality and end the suffering early. Death is the only... So, you murder them in cold blood. Think of it less as murder, but more of euthanasia. Difference there is consent. One is unwanted whilst the other is forced upon. But we have our reasons for forcing it upon them. But no. Not usually. But when it comes to us, when they were once a part of us, we would know better than anyone. Sometimes, I can feel their desires linger still. We know what you're thinking. Cormium is starting to sound a bit crazy. Maybe I should leave. But think of it like this. Angry. Ooh, Angie boy. What if one day, you woke up as a slug? A minuscule, defenseless little slug. You couldn't speak. In a minute, you could only move less than a centimeter. The weight of your vessel would be so immense that you would feel trapped in your own body. No one can understand you. The pain would be too great to convey. Your family and friends will no longer recognize you, and you can never be who you used to be. They close their eyes and try to compose themselves. Yeah, you got a little hot-headed there. How's our stats? Ooh, our intellect went up more. Okay. I'm noble, I'm knowledgeable, and I'm intellectual. Cool. That's what it's like to be demoted from a hive mind back into a singleton body. As someone who values individualism a lot, I disagree. You feel so vulnerable, like your life has no order anymore. Because you used to be able to think, feel, and be everything and anything that the collective feels. Do you understand now? The costs we must make to protect the Vena Cava. And if they even have a faint connection, all of the other members could experience this agony too. And we cannot afford for such a thing to happen. To point out. You see, that's the thing. It's always about you and what resources you can afford to lose. Why, of course it's about us. Didn't you hear? We're a collective. We think in terms of the many over the few. We are willing to sacrifice those few for the comfort of the many. But think about it like this. It isn't about how many versus few, but about the quality of pain versus gain. What happens if you didn't kill them? Then the whole Vena Cava may be slightly displeased, but the cost of killing these individuals is death. And death is nothing to fear. It bears no consequence to them because, well, they're dead. And we intend to be very transparent as to what will happen to them. All singletons before the Vena Cava know that this will happen to them if there are no cores left. That's fair enough. I can't imagine anyone who would do this knowing that they're expendable. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask now. Questioning will now begin. Use the keywords you have so far to ask Cormium about them. Rapture, death. I want to ask about the fucking rapture. What is so great about the rapture that is only your only goal in the mind? What an interesting question. I hardly think it's that interesting. I'd argue it should be something that's given. Your whole pitch as to why you should join the Vina Cava is centered around rapture. It shouldn't be surprising when someone asks what's so great about it, because you should be able to justify why rapture is worth pursuing. Or let me ask you this. What is the reason that we live life at all? It is because of the pleasures that we have. We are constantly in search, just as Cormium was talking. Oh, their face undergoes a fission of sorts. Uh-oh, they're doing a little split. You can hear two singleton screaming voices yelling at each other. Cormium itself begins to melt and bleed from its mouth. Too long. Too long, too long. You talk of rapture? I shall grant you rapture. Let us bask in it together. Don't listen to them. Please get a hold of yourself. What? I always thought that these two would be in perfect harmony. Turns out I may not have to convince Cormium. It looks like I'm going to have to pick a side, or maybe help the two fuse back together. I think that if I help them fuse back together again, they'll be like, oh, you do care. Get them fused. I don't say anything, but watch them fall apart. Maybe they'll root each other out. Oh. Within a matter of seconds, Cormium comes together as they did before. They smile. Our sincerest apologies for that hideous display. Do you have anything else left to ask? Death, rapture, funfair. The Fun Fair is one of the plenty events we hold to spread awareness about the Vina Cava. There are fun games to play, philosophical questions to ask oneself, and group therapy. We also host some interactive novels that mimics the life of being in the collective. It gets people interested. Other collectives would just rather brainwash them, but we don't think that's the way to do it. Dang, you're so cool. They should be excited and want to join us. We can all experience the fun together. What else was the fun fair for? It was also a fundraiser event for the disconnected. Disconnected? Occasionally, assimilation doesn't work on a singleton, which is such a shame. So they begin to slowly disassociate themselves from the Hivemind. We spread awareness on the disconnected so they can be reintegrated into the collective. And along the way, with the money we earn, we hope to find a cure for them, so that they can never be disconnected again. Do you have anything else left to ask? Guess just death. Death. What about it? You're the beating heart. No, the soul of this collective. Everything they ever think or do is because of you. Because if you did, surely there would be no Vienna Cava left. Silly, silver-tongued. We'll never die because there'll always be one. The one? One of who? One of us would still be left. Are they talking about the other half of them? If Core were to die, as long as Mume kept living, things would be fine. But what does it matter? Don't bother asking us of such impossibilities. Ooh, our power is negative. You know what? I don't think it may be so impossible. At least not so if I get to look inside their mind. Here we go. Okay. The final answer includes the previous answer to get the key, but the previous answer needs its last letter gone. Something plus last answer minus last letter. Let's see why. This is a more complicated one. How to decode the cipher. L is B. First half is Zom. Oh, okay. What a beautiful love story. What a beautiful... Is it romance? Okay, I'm gonna go back. Get the key. Ooh, this is confusing. Last answer minus last letter. L is B. L is B. Damn. Okay. Fuck. I assume this is all the questions you have for us. I suppose. So are you ready to assimilate to the Vienna Cava? Is there no way out of this? I never wanted to join the Vienna Cava in the first place. Wait. I need some extra time just to really consider everything that's happened. We're afraid we can't let you do that. Time only leads to doubt. Don't you want your members to be doubtless? full of conviction and certainty. We also don't like our members leaving orientation so soon. Now, if we could settle this properly like informed monsters. Settling this properly means you should probably listen to me. We've listened. We've listened. Cormium's patience is running thin. We've listened to your fears, answered any queries you may have had, and we've indulged in your little rants, you see. So we think that we're done listening, and we want to see some action taken. It is time to assimilate into the Vina Cava. I thought you gave people a choice. We don't need to if the choice has already been made. We haven't made. Say hello to your new home, Vina Cava. I need to think of something and fast. Wait. If I'm going to assimilate, that means I'm entering their mind. Maybe within that time window I can... Of course. Using insight gives them a side effect of feign and fatigue. With them in a vulnerable state, that could buy me enough time to exit the Guardian. And so, you decided to do just that. You were lost in the sea of memories and experiences, but using the thought logs, you knew when Cormium was in pain. Now is your time to escape. Stop this pain! I can feel myself losing the assimilation's grasp. And when I do, I start running. And I don't look back, so we failed. Other Vina Cava members around me are just screaming in pain, barely paying attention to my escape. And with the roadmap of the exit, even though it felt like an eternity, in retrospect, it wasn't as difficult as I had assumed. I don't know, I kinda wanted to try to get everything. Or should I just do a dry run through? Would I like to save? Let's focus on the Angie one. Here are the hints for the final answer. The first is the first letter of the answer from before. The second, third, and fourth, though, are for you to discover. I'm so sorry for my dogs. There is no I in team, but there is a me. Maybe it was just because I didn't let them assimilate that it was weird. Before. First is the first letter of the answer from before. Second, third, and fourth, though, are for you to discover. Okay, sorry, return. So is it still that? First letter is T. Is the feeling of Tor is the shock of seeing the frightening thing. This is way easier. Oh, terror. Terror. Okay. Okay. So, letting them re-assimilate was the bad thing to do. Okay. Wait. There's no I in the second there. Okay. Does it still begin with T? I, me, time? Oh, did I get it? I see in front of me that my insight must have caused a strain on Cormium. They're panicking, out of breath, and confused as to what they're feeling. My power does not come with its downsides. That being, they're able to notice a different shifts in fatigue, pain levels, etc. And as a collective, they would be more aware of this versus other singleton creatures. What happened? What just happened? Who cares? Make the pain go away, Mume. Me? It's your job. Don't worry, I can fix this. Oh, really? To me, I can see the clear problem as to what is happening. The pain. No. It's something a little bit deeper than that. I take a pause for effect, and then I dip my feet into their waist, swirling it around. I think the two of you aren't working. Cormium divorce arc. What are you suggesting? How dare you? Can't you see? We're fine. We don't need your help. I'm not saying that you two are broken. On the contrary. I would actually consider your proposition of the Vina Cava. Simply put, one of you isn't living up to the standards that I had expected from a collective. Ha! You don't think I would see through your sophistry? Core, listen. This malformed migraine think it can divide us. But know this, Core. You are valued. You are the Don't listen to the insults that thing throws at you, see? I don't care, we just need the rapture. Oh, I certainly agree with that statement. Core is definitely a valued member of the Vina Cava, most certainly. They do most of the heavy lifting. They're the brute force of engaging with the rapture, and act as the dam holding in the water altogether, so that the rapture can be equally distributed. It must be the most tempting thing in the world, having the rapture right in front of you, yet knowing you have to wait because of the Vina Cava and all the processing. Core is the heart that pumps this experience around the Vina Cava network. This is a mentally taxing task of enduring that, ensuring that each rapture is better than the last. Constantly one-upping yourself because if ever two raptures were the same, then pleasure would be the new normal, the status quo, and people would get tired of it. What can be more difficult, selfless act? Aye. It seems like Core hasn't heard such nice things about them for a while. Okay. Our Supreme is low. Constantly being merged with Mume is one thing, but it's clear that Mume views Core to be the one who's inferior. Mume, on the other hand, I'm sorry, but we need to talk. What? Is this a jest? Some little game? You see, Core? Look at that foul-mouthed sophistry once more. You seriously think that siding with Core would be better? Frankly put, I'm insulted. Mume, please, you should take criticism constructively. I haven't even Core. Let us put its little monster out of its misery, Core. Core! What? Let the insects speak. Clearly they have insight into the situation that we don't have. You have an audacity to think a singleton knows more than us. In the present, we are Cormium. We resemble singletons ourselves. We need the rapture. Needing the rapture. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. We all appreciate the job you do, but frankly, we don't have the time on our hands. We live forever, you imbecile. There's no need to account for time. Oh, hold on now. If I do recall correctly, I remember you saying, our time and resources are precious. You're costing us a lot of it. And now I think I know why. Because your lifespan is limited. What a laughable lie. This isn't unfounded, Mume. There are millions of terrors alive that could rip apart the universe if they wished. Also, If you don't have members of the Vena Cava, it'll lessen your lifespan. That's why you've been desperate to recruit. Actually, you've been so desperate that you're willing to engage in a conversation with me. Silence, even though the both of us know very well I have no intention of joining. I walk around Cormium until I'm facing the side of Core. I get on my knees. Core, take it from me, a singleton outsider, that this relationship isn't working. Mium's calculations, consumption of your energy only drains your resources and wastes your time. Why do you have to evaluate the pain that comes with the pleasure? Life is short, even for you. And sometimes you have to take the fall to get the greatest rapture of all. Isn't it that tantalizing risk of possibly losing it all makes it when you succeed at the greater? Core, they're insane. Core, you can't have pleasure without pain. The two almost go hand in hand. Trying to filter through exceptions is just doing a disservice to you. There's rapture right at your fingertips, and you can take it. My charisma failed. Oh, I'm just... Core. We failed. We don't have to hear any more of this. Oh no. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Void End. Okay, that's sexy. Okay. So I might go back and try to redo that another time. But for now, I think I'm gonna go with the first time I got, just play from there on into Chapter 3. So thank you everyone who joined me, and I'll see you guys next time.